Okay, so here I'm in ArmA3, and just as a comparison, I will not be using the trackIR for this part. So as you can see, I'm moving my whole body around. My rifle is staying in the middle of my screen, roughly. When I move around, I have to move my entire body, and that's kind of meh. Of course, I could use the Alt button and use my keyboard to move, and my mouse to look around, like so. Well, that's easy to see in third person. Moving around and looking around like this. And on foot, that's pretty good. However, when we go into the chopper, okay, here we go. Little helicopter action here. Now I'm in the chopper, and if I move my mouse around, oh no, shit, it doesn't do anything. I could look around like this, but then it'd be really hard to fly, because I need my mouse to fly, as well as my keyboard. Or I could use a joystick, of course, which I'm not at the moment, but I could, but I won't. So, I have to decide whether I look straight ahead and fly, or look around and go into random directions. I can look around like this, but then I don't really know where I am. I have no control over my trajectory, and it's kind of hard, so I'm not flying pretty erratically. I'm trying to look at that other windmill on my left here, so I can turn the entire chopper and keep control, or I could just look down there and not know where I am going, which is kind of annoying and not convenient at all. And now I have no idea where I'm going. Whoops, shit, that windmill was almost there and almost crashed into that house and those trees. But it's okay. Now that my flight is relatively stable, let's go see those solar towers there in the distance. Now that the flight is relatively stable, I can just look around a bit. But there's nothing to see when I'm flying stable, so it doesn't really impact the gameplay that much. Let's try and land on top of one of those solar towers, shall we? So, approaching. Now I'm gaining altitude to slow down, but I'm looking at the sky, and I don't know where I'm going. So, I could just use the mouse to look down, but now I have no control over my helicopter, and it's annoying, and I'm way too far away. I'm trying to land on that thing, not like, blah. Doesn't mean that it's impossible, it's just really hard to see where you're going. You have to alternate between looking and directing. Like, where am I? Oh, it's over there. Well, that sucks. Let's turn around. Of course, when does it come up that you have to land on one of those towers? Never. But, hey. Why not? And now let's try to land on it. And I crashed because I landed too hard. But technically I am on top of it, so it's not a complete failure. And now I can get out and jump off to my doom as a nice ending to this video. No! Oh, I'm stuck. Well, that's armor for you. Oh yeah. No! Okay, so here we are now with trackIR. Just as a demonstration, I'll go to third person and just move my head around. I'm not touching anything with my hands, just moving my head very conveniently with minimal movement that you can, of course, adjust. You can look in all kinds of direction and also lean. Like moving your whole body from side to side means leaning. ArmA3 doesn't have head twisting, so I can't twist my head like a puppy, but that doesn't really matter. And also, as opposed to just looking with the mouse while moving forward, I can aim in a direction with the mouse, like so, and still look completely somewhere else with my head. Which isn't really that useful when just moving around like this, but if I were to try to locate enemies As you often do in Arma, it is very useful to just move around and keep your head on a swivel, as they say. But most of that can be done by mouse and keyboard, so it's not that huge an improvement. However, now that we approach the helicopter, you will really see the improvement there. And also sometimes you want to have a smooth zoom like this. Just slightly look at something and not necessarily zoom all the way like you would with the mouse. As in, like, this is mouse zoom. Hup, what's going on there? Sometimes you just wanna, what's that thing? Oh, okay. It feels much more natural, and that's nice. Okay, let's get flying. Now, ArmA is not a very realistic flight sim, much more so than Battlefield 3 or some bullshit like that, but it's still arcade-ish. In a proper flight sim, you check all your instrument panels and everything's fine. Yes, oh yes, the oil temperature is like 95 degrees, very nice, very nice. But let's take the same flight path as last time, let's take the same flight path last time, so this time I'm tilting my nose down. My helicopter's nose down, but I'm still able to see where I'm going. And with those two windmills here, I can keep an eye out on them while I approach them and fly rather erratically around them. This is not a very good example of awesome flying, but hey, I'm trying to speak and do many things at the same time. Can't expect too much. Okay, let's try this again. Got overexcited there. So, I'm very slowly creeping forward, and at the same time keeping an eye out on this windmill here. And I can turn even more, whoops, to see both windmills, and at the same time I am still in control of my helicopter. So I'm twisting towards the solar towers, looking at those windmills, and let's go ahead. And this is something I could not do before. And very simple stuff like tilting the nose of the helicopter down and still seeing the direction that you're going in. Or even more importantly, looking where you're going when you're turning. It's very organic, there's no learning curve per se. It's just moving your head to look around. I would have thought that it took some learning to keep your eyes on the screen while your head is turning away, but although it would look weird if I had a webcam pointed at my face. I guess from decades of looking at computer screens, I just have no problem keeping my eye on it. Okay, so here we are at the solar tower again. And let's try to land on it again, shall we? Probably looks very erratic. But I guess it's more useful as gameplay than for gameplay videos. I always keep a very slow pace and very deliberate camera movement when I'm recording gameplay usually, but hey. Okay, now I'm hovering just a bit too far off this tower. Let's approach by the side, since I can't really see through the floor on this particular helicopter. Up. Whoa. Up. Overshot a bit. Well, this is not the best chopper for this demonstration, since I can't see through the floor at all. But we shall overcome. Well, I am slow today. And we landed and crashed slightly less than last time. Awesome. Isn't that nice? And let's get out and fall to our death. No! Oh!